It's an honor today to talk to Carlette Mack, who has been with Covenant House for 25 years. That is amazing and such tremendous impact. I think we all know the mission of Covenant House has always been to help and transform the lives of young people who are facing homelessness and those who are survivors of human trafficking. Welcome, Carletta. It's wonderful to be with you. Maybe you could start by telling us a little bit about how Covenant House has evolved over the last 25 years.
Well, Fran, first and foremost, thank you so much for welcoming me here today. I'm so excited to be with you and the Cisco team. Yeah, I have my connection to Covenant House extends beyond 25 years. And I'm a second generation Covenant House employee. My mom worked for Covenant House for over 13 years as a case manager, and I've held various roles across the Federation. And I now proudly and humbly serve as the Chief of People, Culture, and Inclusion at Covenant House International. Today we see that the crisis of youth homelessness unfortunately has gotten worse. There are more young people facing housing instability across the United States alone. 4.2 million young people experience a period of homelessness each year. Access to powerful drugs such as fentanyl and opioids has increased, and the cost of housing has skyrocketed. The COVID-19 pandemic of the past few years has really laid bare the challenges that continue to impact young people facing homelessness: the lack of affordable housing, systemic racism, broken foster care systems, and an ever-changing economic and jobs landscapes. And that's just to name a few. But over the past 25 years, Covenant House has expanded and deepened our work to provide unconditional love and absolute respect and relentless support to young people experiencing homelessness and human trafficking. And I have to just say how proud I am of the work and how proud I am that Covenant House is really always wanting to be innovative and making sure that we're meeting the needs of our young people. Since 1997, we have more than doubled our number of locations. Today, we have programs in 34 cities across the United States, Canada, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua.
So it's amazing to hear the journey for Covenant House. And I think for those of us who have become closer to the organization, we see that growth and that scale and that impact, which is beautiful. I think Cisco started working with Covenant House in 2016. It is an organization that our Cisco community feels so incredibly close to. I think we have learned a lot. I think our journey with Covenant House mirrored our learnings and journey from a proximity perspective as well. We've participated every year since 2016, which means a lot to us. And we've raised and donated over $13 million. And that's something that we're really proud of as well. And as you know, that has been a combination of funds that we have raised with each sleep out, in addition to Cisco grants and technology grants. And I hope you feel this, but we are just committed and we want to be with you on the journey.
Thank you so much, Fran. That is just amazing.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate what you're doing as well. I think a lot of us will be sleeping out together for the first time in a few years on the 17th of November. And I think on the one hand, I think excited to have this experience together and to learn and to listen to many representatives from the Covenant House talking about their experiences. I think that's how we've learned a lot over the years as well. But it's a reminder that the pandemic has also had an impact on the young adults that you serve. And maybe you can talk to us. You did a little bit in your opening, but just what has changed? What do we need to be aware of as a result of the pandemic as well?
So Fran, I want to first say that I was at a site when the pandemic started, and I was working at Covenant House, Alaska. And the one thing that I lift up is how amazing our staff did when it came to working with our young people. And the support of our staff, the support of our community did not waver. At our Latin America sites, youth face additional risk given the weak local healthcare systems, which are understaffed and under-resourced. The declining global economy also exacerbates the chronic poverty in these countries, which is a root cause of the homelessness, trafficking, and exploitation that youth in Central America and Mexico experience. As I mentioned just a moment ago, our staff and our sites were amazing in their response to the pandemic. And during the pandemic, our houses repurposed physical space to care for sick youth. We enforced social distancing. We managed staff shortages due to illness and provided additional support to young people experiencing heightened anxiety, job loss, and other distress. Because of the measures we took, infection rates among youth and staff remained low throughout. In the first year of the pandemic, we provided youth over 690,000 nights of safe housing across all of our sites and about 1.7 million meals. And we kept like I said, our doors open 24/7. Mental health care has emerged as key. And during the pandemic, we moved our care online as needed and have continued to offer a variety of therapies, including art, music, and more, as well as traditional talk therapy.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's lovely to hear you also put a spotlight on issues like mental health. I think that's something that we also have been focused on for many years. And as you shared, saw the impact of the pandemic on anxiety and mental health. And there's so many issues that I think from very different vantage points we're working on together. Our purpose is to power an inclusive future for all. And it's something that we care very deeply about. And what that means is that we engage in the communities around the globe as well. And I guess my question for you, I think throughout this discussion, I hear elements of inclusion, but just tell me, like, how are you thinking about inclusion today? What does that mean from a Covenant House perspective?
This is something that is really dear to me. And it has really been the center of the work that I have been leading within the organization these past couple years. Among all young people facing homelessness in the United States, young people of color are particularly at risk. Black and African American young people comprise of 45% of all people facing homelessness, though there are only 13% of the US population. Hispanic and Latinx people make up 22% of the unhoused population, and Indigenous people face homelessness at about 3 times their population share of 1.3%. At our shelters across the United States, 58% of young people in our care are Black or African American, and they, along with Hispanic and Latinx youth, Indigenous Alaska Native youth, and other non-white youth, comprise of 88% of all the young people in our houses from New York to Anchorage. Covenant House is acutely aware of this, and so we continue to educate ourselves as an organization and to educate our support community about the intersections of race, sexuality, gender identity, and homelessness, and how all of these things make our young people much more vulnerable to human trafficking, for example. After the murder of George Floyd in 2020, Covenant House International had a strong internal conversation that our staffing at all levels mirror the population we serve. We've also made a commitment, and this is something that I think our sites do amazing at, is to make sure that we're lifting up young people's voices in this conversation. They are the experts in their lives, and they are also our partners.
Thank you. I think that for all of us that have participated, there's a lot that you learn. And I think it's very personal as well. And hearing you share some of the stats, your commitments, team, I hope you see another synergy here through the social justice beliefs and actions that we share as well. I remember, Carletta, when I slept out for the first time, I think, we have the privilege of thinking about things like how uncomfortable is it going to be? We have the privilege of thinking about, will I be cold tonight, this one night that I'm sleeping out? I think my biggest takeaway was after hearing some of the stories, just the realization that I was sleeping out in a very safe area. And that element of safety and that recognition that for so many youth, they don't have that safety at night, I think was something that has stayed with me and has been incredibly powerful. So maybe I'd like to close by just asking you, like, what's the one thing that you want all of us to think about as we head into this year's sleep out?
That your sleep out and your support matters. It matters to the young people who will walk through our doors this winter seeking safe shelter and support. And it matters to the young people who are our alumni today, who many probably across the country have joined many of your staff in sleep outs. I think about the work that I did in Covenant House, Alaska, and some of the staff that I actually call colleagues today were youth at one time at Covenant House. I think about Heidi, who's in Covenant House, Alaska, who was a resident at one point, and now she's the chief program officer. She is leading programs. She's leading the innovation of the work that we're doing to end youth homelessness. I think about Aiden, who lived at Covenant House, New York after graduating high school and now hosts national summits for suicide prevention. Or Mike, who founded a community group in New Orleans called Black and Gay, where people can just feel free and feel safe, modeled after Covenant House, where he lived as a teenager. One of the things that I know our alumni have said to me, our youth have said to me, is that knowing that people like you care about them and are willing to sleep out for even just for one night makes them realize how much they matter. So if I could leave you with any one thing today, and that is that everything that you do is touching a life of the young people that we serve, and your support matters, and it makes a huge difference, not only in their lives, but the lives that we're able to touch today and tomorrow and in the future.
Carletta, thank you. Your work inspires us. Covenant House inspires us. We're committed to a very successful campaign this year, and we will do everything that we can. Thank you so much.
Thank you.